Welcome to the Belief Breakthrough Show, where we believe that you can achieve the life you dream of simply through shifting your perspective and breaking through your limiting beliefs. With your host, Tina Encarnacion, the author of Stuck in the Fire, a story of resilience, trauma and abuse coach, an energy healer, and Reiki master. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Belief Breakthrough Show. I am so excited to have you with us today on another amazing episode. So if you are just coming for the first time to the Belief Breakthrough Show, we believe that you can change your life simply through shifting your belief, changing your perspective, and being able to lead with your heart instead of your mind. My name is Tina Encarnacion. I am your host. I am an author, a motivational speaker, a trauma and abuse coach. You can hear more about my story through my book, Stuck in the Fire. You can find that on Amazon or healingbytina.com. But today we are here to focus on Carmen. She is absolutely amazing. She is the founder and creator of the True Sisu Life, and she empowers entrepreneurs and professionals to rewire their mindset to allow their businesses to explode. And I am sure that what she's going to teach us today, even if you are not yet an entrepreneur or business owner or have no intention of doing that, she will be able to help you shift your mindset and explode your life. So Carmen, thank you so much for coming on to this show. I am so grateful to have you here and for you to share your time with us. I want you to be able to share with the viewers everything that you've been through in your life, what got you to where you're at today, and why what you do is your passion. So please
Tina,
tell us all about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here today. So as Tina said, my name is Carmen Ventrucci. I am the founder of my company, True Sisu Life. And my goal, my mission is to help you as entrepreneurs and professionals rewire your mind, work on that mindset so you can go just explode your business, whatever that business is for you. And my journey in entrepreneurship actually started a little over a year ago. So on June 4th of 2019, I left my corporate job of 16 years to start my own company. And there's been ups and there's been downs and there's been lessons learned and there's been a lot of fun and giggles. And it's been a blast. Overall, it's been a blast. Running up to that date, so I call it my corporate dropout date, June 4th, 2019, because I just like to be a little snarky sometimes. My family and I had been through quite a bit up until then. So the previous 2 years, like regardless of COVID, regardless of quarantine, have been weird. Like they've been a lot of different, and we've had a lot of curveballs thrown at us. And so in April, actually, of 2018, we had 2 nieces come join our family. And so my husband and I have 4 kids. And then we added 2 nieces that came to live with us. I'm happy to say they've been living with us for over 2 years now. And we celebrated our 2-year anniversary with them recently. And that, like, yes, they're family, they're related to you. It's still weird adding that dynamic of 2 more kids who happen to be older than our kids. So as an age we had yet to parent, adding that to your family and figuring how to function now as a unit of 8 people in the house, well, plus the dog, 9 mammals in the house, versus the 6 people, 7 with the dog that it was before. So shortly after that, we found out my husband had not 1, but 2 medical issues. He is okay. We found just some like basal cell cancer, skin cancer. He has some really funky scars now. Just kind of minor things, but still enough to make you kind of go, "Woo, we missed the big one there." Like we were lucky. It was treatable. We took care of it. We were lucky. Shortly after that, we found out my dad had prostate cancer. He is doing okay. He is doing really well, actually. He's kind of a really sassy guy. Like I call him the sassy pants. And his sassy pants meter is like back up to 100. So that's a really good gauge of his mood and how he's doing is by how sassy he is. And then, the real kicker was March 13th of 2019. My sister had just a massive stroke at the age of 36. And what makes it even more sad is that the stroke occurred only 9 days after she gave birth to her second baby girl. And yeah, talk about a curveball. She underwent emergency brain surgery that saved her life. And
Wow.
so she's pulled through. She is at home with her girls and her husband. She is different, right? So stroke recovery it's a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely a marathon. She is kicking butt. I'm happy to say she is still with us because statistically she should have passed away. Statistically, she should have not survived that incident, but she is one of the strongest people I know.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, when my sister had the stroke, I was already putting plans in place to start my own company, leave my job. And it was scary because I'm the breadwinner for 6 kids and a husband and a dog. And I wanted to be very smart about it and really, you know, make sure I was doing it all right.
Mm-hmm.
And so my original plan was to leave my company and start my own business on December 31st of 2019. Well, my sister had a stroke, and finally, you know, it was like curveball number 1 million that came our way. That I finally said, why am I taking so long? How come I'm taking all this time to do it? And why do I have to do it right? I'm doing this now. So I rearranged things, changed my mindset, approached things differently, got creative, and I accelerated my timeline by 7 months.
Wow.
And that's how I was able to leave my job and start my company while still supporting 6 children, a husband, and a dog, and 7 months ahead of schedule. And so that's something I'm very proud of, is that it was that shift in my beliefs, you know, that shift in my mindset that made me realize, oh, hey, I can do this better and I can do this faster and I can do it imperfectly. It's better to have it done than have it be perfect.
That's a really important thing to know.
Yes, absolutely. That's like a lot of people have this fear that everything has to be perfect. Otherwise, they're going to be inadequate. Mm-hmm. And I want people to realize it's better to have it done than have it perfect. Mm-hmm. So, and that's how I started my company. That's what I've been doing the past year. Like I said, it's been a roller coaster. It's been up and it's been down. It's been so much fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you said you had to do you shifted your mindset in order to leave your corporate job. Mm-hmm. What limiting beliefs did you have to break through in order to get to that point to be able to shift your mindset?
Oh, that's a great question. I had some, so if you're like, I'm like 95% of the population in the US, and I have some limiting beliefs around money, first and foremost. Like I said, I was the breadwinner. I started to look at things more creatively with money. I just need to make the same amount I'm making to be okay, right? I don't have to have like this exponential, like we figured out how to live on what I was earning. As long as I can reproduce that, we're golden because we already know how to do it, right? Mm-hmm. I made it much more simpler. And I a lot of entrepreneurs and professionals, especially if you're the type that's thinking about going out on your own and leaving a you know, quote unquote steady job, they're like, oh, but I have to make all this money and I have to make all this money. And I realized, no, I have to make this much. I'm in my mind, it's this much. In reality, it's this much. Okay. So that was step number 1, realizing that it was only this much and not, you know, I was biting off the whole elephant. Right. One bite at a time. Yeah. Another thing is it was a quality of life for me as well. I was doing well in my job. There was parts of it I really loved, and there was parts of it I didn't care for anymore. So that fulfillment wasn't there. And I asked myself, all right, if I stay here at my job, which I'm doing okay at, and a year later, nothing changes, will I be happy? Mm-hmm. And the answer for me was no. And so I said, okay, I'm not going to be happy. I would rather do this. I'm going to fail at something. So let's just figure out what I'm going to fail at faster and be happy because I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that was another limiting belief that the limiting belief was I was afraid of failure. And so I realized that I'm going to fail at something. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So let's just get it over with, essentially is what it was. And so that was another thing I had to shift and think about differently. So the money and the failure were big for me.
Right. I like to say fail forward because every single time you fail, you learn a lesson of what not to do next time.
It's either you're right, it goes well, or you learn something, right? Correct. So it's not a failure. It's just you tried something that you have to tweak. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Most definitely. Yeah. And I look forward to failure. People they're like, you're crazy. And people are like, aren't you scared to just because they're always like, you're always jumping off a cliff. You're always doing something new. You're always taking risks. How do you do that? Like, aren't you scared? And I was like, oh, I'm scared every day of my life. Yeah. But I'm not going to allow fear to stop me from where I need to be.
Right. Usually if it's scary, it's worth it, is
Yes.
what I found. The scarier it is, the more worth it is in the long run.
Absolutely. I say fear is excitement in disguise.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, oh my gosh. I heard somebody phrase it very similarly to that the other day, and I actually wrote it down. The only difference between fear and excitement is how you perceive it.
Correct.
And so that's one thing I work on with clients is like when they're feeling fear, you know, no matter what flavor that fear is, let's just turn that around and find out what you're really excited about instead.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm an intuitive energy healer.
Mhm.
And so what I've learned through my studies is that your body feels an emotion, but it doesn't know what that emotion is until your brain tells it what it is.
Right.
And
Right.
so a lot of times we feel those butterflies in our stomach and we automatically say, oh, that's anxiety. Oh, that's fear. But in reality, it's your body getting ready to move to the next level. But we stop it because we are uncomfortable, right? And we're like, I don't want to feel that way, so I'm just going to stay where I'm at. But you've got to push through it and break through that.
I know. Humans fight like crazy to stay within their comfort zone.
We definitely do.
We do. And so you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yes. And that's where your growth occurs.
Absolutely. I tell that to all of my clients. If you're going to work with me, get ready to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because you're never going to be in your comfort zone with me.
Exactly. Agreed.
Yes. Do you have one experience that you've experienced in your life that you can say that is where my path shifted to get to where I'm at today? That's when I realized I have to pivot. I have to change.
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. So yes, in 2018, before all these curveballs, started coming our way, shortly before that, I actually hired my first mentor.
Okay.
To help me work on mindset. And thank goodness I did. Because I mean, without that, I would not have gone through everything I went through the way I did. It could have looked a lot different. It could have looked a lot worse. Let's put it that way. And so I kind of took a leap and started thinking like, hey, I need a coach. I need a mentor. I need to talk to somebody who's accomplished what I want to accomplish. And like I said, thank goodness I did. So I hired my first mentor to help me work on mindset, literally like 2 months before our nieces, and before we knew our nieces were coming to live with us, before they came to live with us. And that was like the turning point. And it is so interesting because I realized I wanted more. I wasn't sure what more was.
Yes.
I realized I wanted something different. I wasn't sure what different was. And I went out and found it anyways. And so I was smart enough to listen to myself and my intuition and my gut saying like, there's something out there. I need to go find out what it is. Can't pinpoint it right now. Let's go for a search anyways. And so that was kind of a big tipping point for me around February of 2018 when I hired my first mentor.
Yeah, I would say the same with me. I was trying to run my business and work 2 full-time jobs and raise my children. And I was spinning out of control, but I knew that I needed to keep going, that I couldn't stop. And so I hired my first coach as well. And it's so amazing how when you invest in yourself and say, I am worth this, and hire someone to help you get out of your head and drop into your heart, how your entire life changes. The puzzle pieces get fit together and you're like, why didn't I see this on my own? Because you can't. You're stuck in your head. So,
well, think about it. You can see things other people can't see about themselves all the time.
Oh yeah.
And so you're kind of silly to think that it doesn't happen to you as well. Like, and
Absolutely.
so if you can like read other people's situations and say, they might need to consider doing XYZ to help them with ABC, chances are people can see this exact same thing about you. Like, they're called blind spots for a reason.
Correct.
You miss them. That's why they're called blind spots. We all have them. It's part of the human experience. And so, it's just amazing what my coaches and my mentors have been able to help me with over the years when you're willing to sit down and ask for help. I mean, that's the first step, to say, I have these blind spots. I don't know what they are because they're blind spots. Someone needs to help me find them. So,
absolutely true.
Yeah.
Have you ever been at a point in your life, and you kind of just talked about this, where you said, I knew that there needed to be a change, and so I hired a mentor. Was there limiting beliefs that your mentor was able to point out to you, or that you were able to have aha epiphany moments yourself and say, okay, this is a limiting belief, or why am I stuck here? And how did you shift out of that stuckness?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So let me give you a really good example. So back in October, so a couple months ago in October, I have this Facebook group that I run, and I have a lot of fun with it. I was, in order to run a Facebook group, you have to put out content. You have to put posts up. You have to, get engage the people engaging. And I was just dreading every day, dreading doing this content and putting out engaging posts and all this. And so I'm like, why is this so hard for me? What's going on in my mind, in my unconscious mind, that's preventing me from doing this? So I worked with one of my mentors, and we kind of, asked, well, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? What's the purpose? Turns out my inconsistency was related to my need for control. So I like control. It's one of,
Don't all of us?
First. So, and once we realized that, okay, we were able to say, all right, this is why. Now what do you need in order to feel like you're in control? And so we went through an exercise again, and we came up with a solution. I'm like, okay, this is what I need. I have these resources now. Let's go post some stuff. And ever since October, my engagement and my leading of this group on Facebook has been like 95% spot on. Like, wow. I rarely miss a day. If I do, I say, hey guys, forgive me. I missed my morning mindset post. Here it is. Move on. If I screw up, I admit it. And the group is growing. We're having a lot of fun in it. It's a group of people who are out there to design the life they want. And it was just when I realized that this limiting belief, this behavior, this inconsistent behavior I had, this procrastination, we'll call it, was related to my need for control. And once I realized that, I was able to fix it and process it and move on. And so, yes, absolutely. I mean, I've had limiting beliefs around sales. Like, I realized I was raised in an environment where sales was frowned upon, yet we're all in sales. Convincing my kids to clean their room is a sale.
Yes.
Like, convincing people to have me as a guest on their podcast is a sale. And so money does not necessarily have to change hands or transact in order for a sale to occur. And once I helped one of my coaches help me reframe that way, I'm like, oh, I'm an influencer. Like, I'm very good at convincing people to do things that they don't want to do. Like kids cleaning their rooms. And so I'm an influencer, so I am in sales. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And so it was just that reframe that they helped me with, where no, money doesn't have to change hands.
Absolutely not.
A sale occurs when you're helping somebody make a decision. That's all.
Yes.
Sales is service. Sales is making an impact. And so, yeah, simple reframes like that, where like, oh, like you can see like the light bulbs go off. Yeah, they've definitely helped me see those blind spots and overcome them.
Yeah, definitely. So you talk about sales as reframing your mindset, and that's what you do. That's what you teach. That's your passion. Yeah. And so for somebody that is struggling to achieve the life that they desire, what are some tools that you teach to help your clients reframe their mindset so that they can explode their business and their life?
Oh, great question. So there's so many things you can do. All right. And it is quite individualized. So some of it might be just like, well, what are you afraid of? We already kind of had that fear conversation. If we can just reframe their fear into excitement, that goes a long way. I am also an NLP master practitioner. So I use some NLP techniques with clients that we can help them get more of the good stuff that they want in their life. Like if they want to be more, set boundaries better, whether it's with work, relationships, we can help them do that. There's so many different techniques within that we can use depending on what personal goals and objectives are. Another thing I do is just simple. What do you even want? So many people are just stuck and they don't know what they want. So I help them tease out what it is they want. And it's really empowering when people can finally say, yes, this is the life I want. These are the aspects that are important to me. And these are the aspects that I can let go of. And just helping them either let go of a lot of the emotional baggage that they've been carrying around is extremely powerful. Helping them let go of the things that maybe they were told is important and really isn't important to them is extremely powerful. And then giving them permission to say, this right here, whatever it is for them, this is what I want. This is the light. This is how I want my life to live, is extremely empowering. And just helping them find that, like, I see things very well. I'm like I can envision the end of a process, the end of a system. I can just like see the light at the end of the tunnel quite a bit and very quickly. And I help people get there to see their light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the founder of
Mm-hmm.
the true Sisu life. And
Yes.
that word is very interesting to me because
Mm-hmm.
I can tell there's meaning and passion behind it because
Mm-hmm.
you've created your business brand off of it. So can you tell us a little bit about what that word means to you?
Oh, I would love to. This is just a wonderful word. Everybody needs this in their vocabulary. So Sisu is Sisu. It's actually a Finnish term. So we are part Finnish on my mom's side of the family. So we grew up hearing this word, and we always knew what it means. There's no direct translation into English. Essentially, it's grit, determination, and tenacity, no matter the obstacle, no matter the odds. So it is just this spirit and of overcoming, because life has some surprises in store for you no matter who we are. Again, it's part of the human experience. We're going to have some obstacles and curveballs thrown at us, and it's a way to overcome and get through them with grace, is essentially what it is. It's also a dedication to my sister, who I told you about, who had the stroke. She is very into our Finnish heritage. She has like a Finnish flag tattoo and everything. And that's become really our entire family's brand, is the word Sisu. And my goal is to help people realize that we all have a little bit of Sisu in us that we can activate when we need. It's not about being Finnish. It's about this spirit of, you know what? Things are going to happen, and they are meant to be on my journey. I am meant to discover something from them, and it will be okay, because I have the grit, determination, and tenacity to overcome it.
That is so amazing, because I feel like in order for you to get through this life, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what your walk, no matter what your journey, you need to have that ability, because this
Yes.
life will kick you down. It will step on you. It'll run over you. And unless you have the strength to get back up and keep going, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And so that's so important to have. You are a entrepreneur and business coach. And so what is one constant you see in your clients? Because I know that a lot of people in this world right now, especially with COVID, are really considering becoming a business owner or an entrepreneur. And there's that limiting mindset of, can I do it? And also there's that fear of, will it be successful? What if I fail? That fear of failure. And so as a coach, what is your number one biggest nugget that you give to people that are considering stepping into business ownership that helps them to transition from a thought or an idea into an actual business?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Okay, so can I get? I know you asked for one. I have two.
Oh, go ahead.
So number one, your mindset is the root of every business decision you make, whether you work for somebody else or you work for yourself. All right. Your mindset is the number one root of every business decision you make. So you have to invest in your mindset as any other asset in your company. So you have to invest in your mindset as you would your marketing strategy, as you would your sales strategy, as you would your finance team. Because once you have a good mindset, and now, disclaimer, you will work on the mindset for the rest of your life. This is not a one and done. So once you have a good mindset, what that allows you to do is be more clear and more aligned with who you are, who your clients are, and who your business is. Once you are more aligned, the business mechanics, so the business knowledge that we all have, is just easier because you know what to do. Then it's easier to build your team, and then you get to become limitless. I call that the CEO pyramid. So on the base is mindset, then clarity, then the business mechanics, then your team or your village, and then you're limitless. So invest in your mindset. That's going to look different for everybody. You need that solid mindset. Otherwise, you're just going to get in your own way the whole time, and just like you will stop learning from those failures and mistakes. Those failures and mistakes are a gift for you to learn from.
Yes.
So that's number one, is focus on mindset more than you think you need to. Number two is I want you to be crystal clear on your why. And I know there's a lot of like videos on YouTube and, you know, I know my why and like, because this is why it's so important. Your why is like the gas in your car on your road trip across the country. Like, you know where you're going, you know how to get there. If you run out of gas, you're stranded on the middle of the road, like in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road, and AAA can't come save you. So your why is like the gas in your car on a cross country road trip. So keep your why in your mind and in front of you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I want your why to be more than like, oh, I'm doing it for my kids. Like, yes, it's important to do things for your kids and leave a legacy, but who do you want to serve? Like, every business serves somebody, whether it's your own business or another company you work for. Every business serves somebody. So be clear on who you want to serve, what that transformation is, or how you're going to serve them. And business gets a lot easier because your discernment is a lot easier. You are quickly able to say, yes, that's aligned. No, that's not. So yes, we will do this. No, we will not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the two things I have to say. Work on your mindset and be clear on your why.
And I feel like your why can change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When I started my business, my why was I wanted to make enough business. I wanted to make enough money to fire my employer, who now I refer to as my investor.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah. Like, you're not my employer, you're my investor. That's the only way I can keep going to work.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I want to fire him.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to start a business because I'm not going to go work for another idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I want to fire him. So I have to start my own business to make enough money to fire him. And then as I started my business, I learned that my why was I wanted to heal others. I wanted to help others. And that's why I didn't like my employer, because he had stopped me from helping others. He had stopped me from living out my passion, and I couldn't stand it. So then my business went from firing him to being able to help others with no limitations and no boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went from I want to help others, which was very limited. I wanted to help others that were in front of me, that I could touch, that I could feel, that I could talk to, that I could smell. And then it went to, I'm not touching enough lives. I want to touch the masses. Right. And then it went from, if I could touch the masses, I would have enough money to save these people that can't invest in themselves. And so I'm going to take that wealth and spread it to down here to bring them up to match with everybody else. And so my why has changed so many different times over the 5 years of my business. But that why is so important.
Yes.
So,
and Tina, I think that's beautiful because you're pivoting, and that's what you're supposed to do when you're in business. You're supposed to get the feedback from your community and your clients and apply it to your business to make sure you are serving them. And that is exactly what you did. And people lose sight of that. Like my why, like my mission statement has changed over the years. When I first left my corporate job, I was focusing mostly on business coaching. And then my clients are saying, I need more mindset. And I'm like, I'm finding a gap here. I don't see many people who combine the business and the mindset portions of coaching together. So I'm like, oh, I can do that. And I did it. And my business has taken off ever since I made that shift.
Right.
And so, I mean, you're supposed to pivot. Like, give yourself permission to pivot and change. And it's like that you're more successful when you do that.
Most definitely. Another thing that I'm seeing right now, and it could be due to COVID, it could just be because the economy, you have to work multiple jobs to survive nowadays, is a lot of people are getting into business per se. They call it business, but they don't have a why. They don't have a direction. And they're doing it purely to either waste their time, fill their time up, or to try to bring in money, but they don't know anything about business. And so they struggle with trying to make a successful business, and they stop, but they still have clients, right? And so as a business coach, what would you tell somebody how to prepare before they take that leap of jumping into a business? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I have so much to say about this. I'll keep it short. I want you to understand that your own business is still work, right? So a lot of people I talk to think there's some magic formula where they can just like not do anything yet still get all this income coming in.
Yes.
Like, yes, maybe you can get there. Okay. I never say never. Yet you have to still hold yourself accountable in your own business. And that's what people forget. Like I struggled with this a little bit when I first left corporate. I wasted a good 3 weeks like twiddling my thumbs just because I had to get used to holding myself accountable. There was no other supervisor or boss or anybody telling me what to do. Right. And it is a shift. And it's okay. I wish I would have had those 3 weeks back where I just did not sit there and twiddle my thumbs. And so hold yourself accountable. Put it in your calendar or write it down. Like plan out your week. You still have to plan out your work. And a lot of us do this when we're in the corporate environment and we forget to do it when we transition. It's a shift because always like, think of it as like your kid goes off to college and all of a sudden they have to take care of themselves. It's kind of the same concept, except you're an adult and you just don't have anybody telling you what to do anymore.
Right.
My other recommendation is find somebody who's done it before and pick their brain and do what they did. To master their system or master whatever they did. And then once you master it, then you can make changes to accommodate you and your specific needs and your client's specific needs. Because everything is figure outable. Everything's been figured out pretty much. It's just a matter of finding which version works for you.
Absolutely. And on that point, I know with me, I work with a lot of mothers. Because a lot of women have mindset issues. We have worth issues and belief issues and not enough issues. And so I work with a lot of those type of clients. And a lot of them are getting into the direct marketing world or the multi-level marketing world. And I'm also multi-level marketing. I do doTERRA. I sell essential oils. It's part of my business.
Awesome.
But something that I'm seeing in that realm, and it's not just the essential oil realm, but it's all direct marketing realm, is people don't understand the business before they start. And so they go out and they recruit their family members and they breathe belief into others before they've even figured out how to do it themselves. And then they build this team underneath them and it falls out. It falls out from underneath them because they almost create this like false floor of the business. Right. And so direct marketing, multi-level marketing, it's like skyrocketing right now. It's soaring. And I have a feeling if you don't already, you're going to have a lot of direct marketing clients trying to figure out how to run the business. So as a direct marketing person, before they choose their upline or, their direct person that's going to train them, what advice would you give them to kind of almost like interview their upline? Because I feel like you kind of have to interview because whoever you choose to sign up with, that's who you're stuck with.
That's who you're stuck with. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And so I have been involved in direct marketing before. I got out of it due to, I wanted to work on this. I love direct marketing products. I buy a lot of them. Not every upline is created equal.
Yes.
And so I want you to see how they pay close attention to how they treat you when you have questions, because that is going to be how they treat you for the duration of your relationship. And make sure, I want you to ask them exactly, how do I say this? I'm just going to say it. It might not be political. How do you hack the system? Ask them how they hacked the system. Like I have a good friend who does very well in one MLM company. And he found out, he actually asked his upline, what's the key? And she's like, the key is to get 22 people under you. You need 22 people under you because about this many percent will be like the go-getters. About this many percent are only going to buy the products and not recruit. About this many percent are, you're going to fall off and you're going to lose some people. So keep your 22 people and then just be sure you have a couple in the hopper so you can replace the ones who fall off. And once he knew that he had the key to hack the system for that particular company, he's like, you get it. And so his upline was clearly able to explain how to be successful. If they just tell you, oh, your success is determined by the work you put in, that to me, that's a line of BS. Like, yes, I understand if you do nothing, you get nothing. Yet there's always a way, like everything is a system. Your mindset is a system. Your personality is a system. Your MLM is a system as well. So there is absolutely a way to hack the system. And the good uplines will be able to tell you exactly what they did and give you the numbers, because it is a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely a numbers game. And also I also like to call customer service and see how the customer service treats people, because
That's a really good idea.
that's if they are doing really well and they treat you with respect and they're able to answer your question, that's a good reflection on the rest of the company as well. So I would just do your call customer service and just see how they treat you, see if you liked the experience. Ask your upline, how do you hack the system? Like, how many people do I need? Like, get as specific as my friend did, 22 people in my downline. And see how your upline treats you. And if you get a bad vibe from any of that, next.
Yeah, turn around and run away.
Turn around and run away. Or if you really like the product, find a different upline.
Yeah, definitely.
If you like really customer service, you like the product, just find a different upline. But yeah, like same with like if you're recruiting, you're in an MLM, you're looking for people to be under you as recruits and buy your product. If they're not interested, just go next. Next. Yeah, there's plenty of people. There's 7 billion people now. Are we at 8 billion yet on the planet?
We'll be soon.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important in all business, not just direct marketing or MLM, but don't focus on trying to convince somebody that they need you.
Yeah.
If they are meant to work with you, they will want to work with you. You don't have to convince them anything, right? One thing I hate is pushy salespeople, where you're like, I'll come back later, I'm not quite there yet. And they want to spend 20 minutes convincing you why you need to do that right now. And actually that makes me not want to work with that person. So one last question for you. What are 3 pieces of gold you would like to give to our viewers that would help them to shift perspective, eliminate limiting beliefs, and step into their realm of possibilities?
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a loaded question. That's a really good question. All right. 3 pieces of gold. Number 1, we all have limiting beliefs. You are not alone. It is okay. Number 2, your limiting beliefs were given to you by the people you surrounded yourself with, the people who took care of you growing up, and events that occurred in your life. They were given to you. They are not your fault. Yet, you have the responsibility to change them if you need to. All right. And number 3, I would say, we already talked about it a little bit, but it's that fear. It's like when you're experiencing, like I always coach on the 7 flavors of fear. There's kind of 7 big ones people have a lot. If you're experiencing one of those flavors of fear, whether it's the fear of inadequacy, fear of being a fraud, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of failed mistakes, sacrifice, whatever it happens to be, turn that into excitement. What if you're just really excited about the outcome instead of afraid of it? And so listen to what that fear is a gift. That fear is telling you, and then make a decision. Before making the decision in fear, listen, process, and then make your decision.
Those are really good nuggets. So, Carmen, thank you so much for your time today. Where can people find you if they want to work with you?
So go to my website. It's www.truesisulife.com. I'm on Carmen Ventrucci on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And then, check out my Facebook group. We have a lot of fun. It's called Map to Limitless Life Design.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for coming onto the show and sticking it out and grabbing all the information that Carmen has dropped for you. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe so you don't miss any shows, and share this with all of the amazing entrepreneurs and business owners that can benefit from the amazing information Carmen had for us today. If you have any questions, you want to get in contact with Carmen, her contact information will be below. I will share that with you guys in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for being with us today. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone.